Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day live stream. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how you can import content that you've written elsewhere into Leanpub to create a Leanpub book from it. As usual with these live streams, they're being recorded for posterity, so you can find them on our YouTube channel in the Lean Publishing Tip of the Day live stream playlist. And you'll find them, of course, at the top of the accompanying blog posts and everything like that. Speaking of which, every one of these live streams comes with an accompanying blog post, which you can find on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. The usual programming notes are that I take the first 2 minutes, basically exactly, to just do a little bit of housekeeping and stuff like that. So if you're watching the video later, which is most people who watch these videos, you can just skip ahead to 2 minutes and ignore all my boring preamble. Of course, please, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe and all that. You can find ways to sign up for our newsletters on our website at leanpub.com. We've got daily, weekly, and monthly newsletters, all of which come with some news content a little bit, but mostly they're valuable for all the great discounts that you get on Leanpub books and bestsellers and new releases that you'll get in those newsletters. I think we're planning some more newsletters to come out just with sort of more kind of segmented interests in the future. So anything you're interested in about Leanpub, and if there isn't a newsletter covering what you're interested in about Leanpub, please reach out to us at hello@leanpub.com or on social media with your suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you have any suggestions for these Lean Publishing tips of the day that you'd like me to cover, please get in touch with me. I'm easy to find online. And you can also email us at hello@leanpub.com with your suggestion for the Lean Publishing tip of the day. And by the way, that can include things that I've talked about in the past. Leanpub is constantly being updated. So, repeating kind of subject matter is actually kind of going to be a normal part of these tips of the day, hopefully not too often. But with that said, we're approaching the 2-minute mark. So 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day. If you've joined us late or if you've just skipped ahead to 2 minutes, today I'm going to be talking about exploring the manuscript import section of Leanpub. If you've created a Leanpub book and you go to your overview page for the book, here's my live stream demo book, and you go to the overview page. It should be hopefully easy to find after you create a book, and scroll down. You'll see that there's this import section down here. The kind of history of this is interesting. Leanpub started as a blog to book service. The idea was you've written a blog, you've maybe got hundreds of blog posts on there. Why not import them into Leanpub? And we can help you curate them into a book. You've already written maybe more than one book's worth of stuff, and we can help you create it into something coherent, probably edited, reordered, things like that, made relevant for the current topic or the current moment in time. And then you can do that. It attracted some kind of people who kind of were famous or became famous at the beginning. Eventually, Leanpub became more focused on our own writing modes. You can write a Leanpub book in plain text using Markua, which is our markdown for books. And if those words don't mean anything to you, if you go to our Author Help Center, there's an article called "What is Markua," which is hopefully still kind of a little bit of a fun read. I wrote that. I like it. It's sort of meant to explain kind of writing in plain text from a non-technical person's perspective, and it hopefully explains how powerful and important it is to write book manuscripts in plain text and all of the amazing things that can come from that, including translations and stuff like that now. But of course, people don't just start with writing in blogs. They start writing in all kinds of ways. We have an import from Blogger, you can see thing. We also have an import from Substack. I know people have been writing books on Substack as posts, basically, or series of posts with the intention of maybe extracting them into a kind of, as it were, proper book later. So if you're writing on Substack, please consider trying our import from Substack feature. One thing I should say right now, too, is that you can see from the sort of fact that EPUB isn't kind of properly spelled there right now, and WordPress doesn't have the uppercase P, that this isn't the part of Leanpub with the most love. That's because it's the part that's basically not very much used, and we'd really like people to use it more. And so if you do use any of these import features and you run into any issues, please contact us at hello@leanpub.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. I mean, one of the reasons, if anything works, we say with humility but truth to it, that if anything works on Leanpub, it's because people got in touch with us with feedback about how it could work better that we listened to. So there's also an import from EPUB feature there. If you've created a book, say you're an author who's published books on Amazon, KDP, and you've got your EPUB, you can import it into Leanpub. using this feature. You can also import HTML. If you've got a website that you'd like to turn into a book, that's something you can try. We've also got an import from WordPress feature that you can use. So if you've been blogging on WordPress or something like that, that might actually be the right option for you. Probably the most substantial feature that we have for importing is importing from Word. Let me just share the tab where we this is a Help Center article where we talk about importing from Word. I always thought this would, I had big dreams for this. I thought, a lot of people out there writing books in Word, writing, like I did my doctoral thesis in Word, all kinds of things people are writing in Word all the time. Wouldn't it be great if they could import their Word files into Leanpub? Actually, Word import, I believe KDP has this or had this. I believe, was it Smashwords, I think, had this feature as well, where you import from Word. The key thing, at least currently, when you import a Word document into a self-publishing book platform, is that you basically have to format everything in that Word document the way the importer needs you to. So we explain all of this in this Help Center article about importing from Word. And we show you how to do it. I mean, the sort of import sections moved around and stuff like that, but the idea is basically the same. And so, yeah, the key thing you need to do is format your Word document properly before importing it. And when I say properly, I mean, according to our guidelines. Helpfully, in here, you'll find a download link with a Word document that is formatted the way we need you to format it. The cool thing about this is you can just paste images in, but you do need to learn a couple of things about Word, probably, like, if you've got a chapter heading, you need to select it in Word, then you need to choose styles and make it in the header 1 style or heading 1 style. If you've written a novel, that might actually be all you need to learn. If you've got paragraphs with chapter names, all you need to do is style the chapter names as heading 1, and boom, you can import your novel into Leanpub, which is really, really cool. The other thing is that if you are, I thought I had a book here. I'm just sharing and share a different tab here. Right. So I made a live stream demo book a while ago. One thing that you can also do when it comes to importing is just go to the right tab. For some reason, it's not being responsive, probably because I'm demoing, and that's the way demos go. Right, here we go. So if you've got a manuscript, whether it's, dictated notes, whatever it is, the beginnings of a manuscript in Markdown, you can actually just create a book in our browser writing mode and just paste in your Markdown right here. Delete, if you want to, delete everything that's there, and paste your text in. I'll just undo those changes. But yeah, you can just sort of copy and paste your Markdown into Leanpub and create a preview and see what happens. Again, if you've written a book doesn't have too much kind of special formatting it, or images or tables or anything like that, which we do support, by the way, you might find that everything kind of works really well. Almost certainly there will be a bunch of editing and curating that you'll need to do when you import that way by copying and pasting. If you're writing in our GitHub and Dropbox writing or Dropbox writing mode, you can also just use your .txt or .md files that are in plain text to basically you'll learn how to do that if you do one of those writing modes, but you can actually just use those files in your GitHub repo or your Dropbox folder for your book, and generate your book previews and publish versions from there, which is really great. So it might be that, and even if I should mention here, even if you've written in Word and you don't want to learn all that crazy Word formatting stuff that I just showed you, or crazy seaming, you can just actually probably copy and paste your words into the browser writing mode and get going that way. It should be relatively straightforward. If you are, let's go back to the overview page for this book. And yeah, back to the import section. Let me just show you what one of these import pages looks like. Here's what the import from Word page looks like. Typically for Leanpub, there's a wall of words explaining everything there. These words seem boring, but actually if you read these descriptions of how things work, you'll save yourself a lot of time in the future if you're using it. Right here, you can just sort of click to select a Word document from your computer, or copy. I believe you can click and drag as well. And then you can click the Start Import button and just get going. That process is still a little bit clunky. It'll be converted into the browser if your book isn't already in the browser writing mode, which it probably is, but it will be converted to the browser writing mode. And then you'll find your imported files here in the right tab. which again is being slow today for some reason. But if you go to the right tab, you'll actually probably see your file added here. The Word document will be added as a file here. So you might want to, delete these default files that you might find in your book, and then just work on the real Word files that you want to work on. Let's just go back to the blog post. So yeah, so that's kind of covering the basics of importing into Leanpub. You can import from various EPUB, HTML, and Word formats. You can import from platforms like Blogger and Substack and WordPress. We can add potentially things if you see an option. If you've got written your sort of book manuscript somewhere on some platform and you don't see an import option here, you can contact us and ask us what we can do about it. If we can help you in any way, we always try to be really helpful. I mean, even if there isn't a kind of process yet, or if there isn't a feature yet, we can give you some guidelines for getting your book onto Leanpub. The last thing I'll talk about is, the question would be like, what's happening when I import? Why import? What happens when you import is your book manuscript gets converted to Markua, which is our markdown for books, as I mentioned before. And with that, basically you get a lot of incredibly powerful features on Leanpub that you don't get if you use our upload writing mode. For example, you can use our services like our Translate AI service, which once it can look at your manuscript that's formatted in our syntax, it can then translate it kind of using our translation system that we developed over the course of a couple of years. The AI services, including the ones that we use for translation, know Markua. The spec is online at markua.com if you're interested in looking at it. That really helps unlock a lot of powerful things. There's all kinds of other interesting things that can be done when the connection basically, what I'm having trouble expressing here today is that when your book manuscript is in Markdown or is in Markua in plain text, the fact that there's all these basically systems that we can build on top of that can turn your book into, translations, that can turn your book into a course online if it's a nonfiction book, things like that. We can do all kinds of things with that manuscript if it's written in our format in plain text that we just can't do if it's written in some arbitrary format, arbitrary from our perspective, like whether it's Word or Pages or Google Docs or whatever. So the real value of getting your manuscript converted and imported into Leanpub, into the the Leanpub way of writing books, is that you unlock all this potential for other things you can do using Leanpub's kind of various tools and things like that you can't do if you've, as it were, just uploaded a book. So if you want to learn more about that, we've got an article called What is Markua, which is really great. And I'm going to be thinking better about how to kind of explain how useful that connection is to go all the way from the manuscript to the finished product using kind of, smart built services and design services that are designed kind of with an understanding of what the manuscript's going to be like and what it's supposed to turn into. And if that sounds like that should be a trivial thing that everyone does already, it's not. If you've ever worked with a conventional publishing company producing a book, you'll know that things are incredibly inefficient and kind of ad hoc and case by case and stuff like that. So that's actually one of the. And if you're a publisher out there and you're watching this, hopefully you can see behind, what I'm saying, the kind of enormous potential for having a kind of, I hate to use the word, but kind of standardized format for manuscripts that's well designed with the production of things in the end in mind, in the way that standard is written itself. Then you'll see what I'm gesturing at here is actually very powerful. So that's today's live stream. Thank you for watching. If you watched it live, you're most likely watching this recorded somewhere. There's going to be, if you found this on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. We try and do these every weekday at noon Pacific time. And yeah, they're recorded for posterity. The video will be at the top of the blog post that accompanies every live stream recording, and you'll find it elsewhere online in social media, and you'll find clips and stuff like that as well. And yeah, so if you like it, please like and subscribe. Please follow us wherever you found us on social media. And please, if you haven't created a book before, it's really easy on Leanpub. Go to leanpub.com/create/book, and you can create a book for free, writing in the browser writing mode anytime. Thanks very much.